Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 12, we find the writer showing us that two are better than one. He says in verse 9, two are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. One might think, well, if I'm going on some type of business venture, it might be better to just go by myself because I could, get more profit. I wouldn't have to share it with another individual. But here, the writer says, no, it's better to go ahead and have someone go along with you. Things will work out best if you do that. You'll have a good return. He'll say 4, verse 10, if either of them falls, the one will lift up his companion. But woe to the one who falls when there is not another to lift him up. And so if you're going on some type of business venture and you fall down and you get injured, you can't complete the trip because there's no one there to lift you up and to help you to continue the journey. He says in verse 11, furthermore, if two lie down together, they keep warm. But how can one be warm alone? So if you're traveling at night and it gets real frigid and cold, you might get hypothermia or something like that. But if you have a companion to keep you warm, then you can receive the comfort and the warmth from one another. And if nothing else, it'll make the journey a lot more pleasant. And then in verse 12, he says, and if one can overpower him who is alone, two can resist him. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly torn apart. And so if a thief comes or something like that, if someone comes and tries to rob you, if you have another companion with you, then two can overpower the one a lot better than just one person could do. And so it's better to have a companion there to help you to be safe from people who might try to steal from you or try to attack you or harm you in some way. And so for all these different reasons, it's better to have a companion. It's better to travel in numbers rather than going by yourself. And as many of us will be going to worship today with other believers, we're going to be getting connected with the church. Hopefully these verses will help us to value the church all the more, to recognize that it's a good thing that we have a community of people who are making a similar spiritual journey that we are. And if we were trying to make it on our own, it probably wouldn't go as well. And we'd encounter much difficulty in trying to make our journey. But fortunately, the Lord has set things up in such a way that we can have other people to come alongside of us, other companions that can help us be more successful in our journey. And many of them are very similar to what we find here. He says, when he talks about, if one falls, the other will come and lift him up, and help him continue his journey. That's what the church is to do for us. As we are walking on this spiritual path, we might fall, we might mess up, we might falter. And it's good to have a community of people who can surround us and help us and pick us up and help us get back on the journey again. As we go to them and we seek help, we seek accountability, whatever it is that we might need, the church is there to provide resources in such a way that we can be lifted up and continue the journey. Also, the church is there to provide warmth and comfort in a cold, dark world. All throughout the week, perhaps we're out there in the cold world just trying to muscle it through, trying to get through, our day-to-day activities. And it might be very difficult and cold out there in the world. But when we come together as a church, there ought to be, warmth and comfort as we comfort one another and encourage one another and lift each other up. That's what we find as we connect ourselves to a community of believers. And then in spiritual warfare, this is true as well. As it was talking about, it says one person can overpower him who is alone, two can resist him. And just think about if we have way more than two people surrounding one another, helping one another, encouraging one another in the spiritual warfare that we engage in and day out. And we can find other people to strengthen us and to help us and to give us accountability and to pray for us and things like that. And as we come together and we become this, what we could say, perhaps this cord of 3 strands. We become this cord of many people bound together in this journey through life. We can find strength in numbers as we engage in spiritual warfare. So for these reasons and many more, it's good that we have the church. And let's be thankful to God that we have a church that we can go to, we can engage in, we can participate in, and we can find all these different helps as we're trying to journey through this life. And hopefully we will value that, we'll treasure it, and we'll hold fast to that as we continue on through our life. So these are some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.